this better? Hello?
Yeah.
You guys look like the Wheel of Time crowd.
Yeah, she's just
Alright, so hello and welcome. My name is Jason Denzel. I'm the webmaster of Dragonmount.com. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do everyone up here probably needs no introduction, but we're going to introduce ourselves anyway, and then we have some treats for you. So going down the line here, next to me is the wonderful, the incredible, the amazing Harriet McDougal.
One foot at a time. Thank you very much for that incredibly warm welcome.
Next there is Maria Simmons, Harriet's executive assistant, and probably the person who knows the Wheel of Time better than any of you. Skip over the next guy, so we'll come back to him. Matt Hatch, the webmaster of Theoryland.com. Say hello.
Woo!
And Peter Ahlstrom, Brandon's assistant, and also someone who knows these books inside and out. But not least, of course, we have Brandon Sanderson. So we're going to begin here with something very special for you. Harriet is going to read from A Memory of Light, something that has not yet been put out in any of the various previews online or anything. So assuming you haven't read the book yet, this should be something new and special for you. Here's Harriet.
This is why I got my notes in this book. Is checking out what I plan to read. This is from chapter 9. Rand rifled through the pile of maps, notes, and reports. He stood with his arm folded behind his back, a single lamp burning on the desk. Sheathed in glass, the flame danced as breezes eddied through the tent where he stood alone. Was the flame alive? It ate. It moved on its own. You could smother it, so in a way it breathed. What was it to be alive? He looked back at the maps. What he saw impressed him. Elaine was preparing well. He had not attended the meetings planning each battle. His attention was directed towards the north, towards Shale Gould, his destiny, his grave. He hated the way these battle maps, with notes for formations and coups, reduced men's lives to scribbles on a page, numbers and statistics. Oh, he admitted that the clarity, the distance, was essential for a battlefield commander. He hated it nonetheless. Here before him was a flame that lived, yet here were also men who were dead. Now that he could not lead the war himself, he hoped to stay away from maps such as this one. He knew seeing these preparations would make him grieve for the soldiers he could not save. A sudden chill ran across him, the hairs on his arms standing on end, a distinct shiver halfway between excitement and terror. A woman was channeling. Rand raised his head and found Elaine frozen in the tent doorway. "Light," she said. "Rand, what are you doing here? Are you trying to kill me with fright?" He turned, settling his fingers on the battle maps, taking her in. Now here was life. Flushed cheeks, golden hair with a hint of honey and rose, eyes that burned like a bonfire. Her dress of crimson showed the swell of the children she bore. Light, she was beautiful. Brand out, Thor, Elaine asked. Are you going to talk to me, or do you wish to ogle me further? If I can't ogle you, whom can I ogle? Don't grin at me like that, farm boy, sneaking into my tent. Really, what would people say? They'd say that I wanted to see you. Besides, I didn't sneak in. The guards let me in. She folded her arms. They didn't tell me. I asked them not to. Then, for all intents and purposes, you were sneaky. A lady rushed by and she smelled wonderful. Honestly, as if Avienda weren't enough. I didn't want the regular soldiers to see me, Graham said. I worried it would disturb your camp. I asked the guards not to mention that I was here. He stepped up to her, resting his hand on her shoulder. I had to see you again before you saw me at Marilor. Elaine, I'm sorry, she said, turning back to him. I am happy to see you, and I am glad you came. I'm just trying to get into my head how you fit into all of this, how we fit into all of this. I don't know, Graham said. I've never figured it out. I'm sorry. She sighed, sitting down in the chair beside her desk. I suppose it is good to find there are some things you can't fix with a wave of your hand. There is much I can't fix, Elaine. He glanced at the desk and the maps. So much. Don't think about that. He knelt before her, getting a cocked eyebrow, until he placed his hand on her belly, hesitantly at first. I didn't know, he said, not until just recently, the night before the meeting. Twins, it is said? Yes. So Tab will be a grandfather, Rand said, and I will be... How was a man supposed to react to this news? Was he supposed to shake him, upend him? Rand had been given his share of surprises in life. It seemed he could no longer take 2 steps without the world changing on him. But this wasn't a surprise. He found that deep down, he'd hoped that someday he would be a father. It had happened. That gave him warmth. One thing was going right in the world, even if so many had gone wrong. Children, his children. He closed his eyes, breathing in, enjoying the thought. He would never know them. He would leave them fatherless before they were even born. But then, Janduin had left Rand fatherless, and he had turned out all right. Just a few rough edges here and there. What would you name them? Rand asked. If there is a boy, I've been thinking of naming him Rand. Rand let himself go still as he felt her wound. Was that motion? Kick? No, Rand said softly. Please do not name either child after me, Elaine. Let them live their own lives. My shadow will be long enough as it is. Very well. He looked up to meet her eyes, and he found her smiling with fondness. She rested a smooth hand on his cheek. You will be a fine father. Elaine, not a word of it, she said, raising a finger. No talk of death, Etuli. We cannot ignore what will happen. We needn't dwell on it either, she said. I taught you so much about being a monarch, Rand. I seem to have forgotten one lesson. It is all right to plan for the worst possibilities, but you must not bask in them. You must not fixate on them. A queen must have hope before all else. I do hope, Rand said. I hope for the world, for you, for everyone who must fight. That does not change the fact that I have accepted my own death. Enough, she said. No more talk of this. Tonight I will have a quiet dinner with the man I love.
Okay, so everyone, Maria Simmons.
I wanted to tell you all a little about Waygate Foundation. When you get your book, on the back flap, there's a list of websites, Dragon Mount, Theory Land, a few others. Waygate's a new one. Waygate is a nonprofit that has started to bring together authors and fans of science fiction and fantasy in local charitable efforts. Harriet is on the board, Brandon is on the board, I'm on the board, Wilson Grooms is on the board, Jason is on the advisory council. We're trying to put together a significant effort to raise money for good charities throughout the world. And right now, Waygate is running a campaign. They're trying to raise $10,000 to benefit Waygate and World Builders. And if they raise $10,000, they will reveal a peek at the encyclopedia, which will be forthcoming from us. I selected the material, and I tried to make it really good. Waygate is starting an encyclopedia question and answer with me and Alan and herself, and they are collecting questions on their Facebook pages starting this evening. So if you check out Waygate, and you can find them there, and if you have any questions about the encyclopedia, you can ask them there, and they will be picking and choosing, you know, the questions that are really good or that the most people have, and we will do our best to answer them while we're working on the encyclopedia, because that's already underway. Thanks.